Alchemy, war, enemies becoming allies, and sacrifice. You cannot gain anything without giving up something in return. This is the law of equivalent exchange. This is why Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is the best anime ever. In my opinion, though.
What's good, fam? Today, this is going to be the full review of why I think Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is the best anime. So, starting off, there's a lot of good animes out there. Don't get me wrong. A lot of animes that can be considered the GOAT or the best animes. But this one in particular really hit home for me. And that's why it's very philosophical too. I'm more of a philosophical type guy. So this one really kept me interested. This one really stayed home with me. So yeah, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I think everybody who watched anime has heard of or probably even saw it. Now there is Fullmetal Alchemist, the original, the 2003 one. I'm not talking about that one because, now don't get me wrong, that one was good, but I didn't like certain stuff that they did to it. I ain't gonna spoil it. But to me, I think Brotherhood was better. The original, it doesn't have, even though it's the original, it doesn't have like the canon ending like how the manga has, because it was, the ending was done before the manga was finished. Brotherhood has like the full canon events and stuff like that. But nonetheless, the original is still good. I say it's more gruesome and more dark too, but still good. So, what is Fullmetal Alchemist? Well, it's the title. Well, the Full Metal is for Edward. That's his name or nickname that he's given because he got the iron arm and iron leg. But alchemy is the main key. This is why stuff happens. Alchemy in this world. And alchemy is so alchemy makes you be able to transmutate and manipulate matter, for example, but you cannot create you can't create anything out of nothing, so to say. Everything has equivalent exchange, and that also affects alchemy. So I think that's really cool. The power system of that is really cool. Now you have to understand, if I remember, you have to understand, then you have to, you have to understand reconstruction, deconstruction, and I think it's those three. The understanding part, then you have to be able to understand the reconstruction and deconstruction of alchemy, and then you have these circles, these transmutation circles that they have to use. But when you see the Gate of Truth, you don't have to use that no more, which I'll get to that in a second. So let's start with the characters. The characters of this show is so fucking beautiful, bro. Like, no diddy. I'm just saying, I busted every time when they introduced and how they used the character development in this show. Like, it was sticky all over the screen. But the two main characters, Edward and Ines. I think I said his name right. I believe I said his name right. But yeah, Edward and Ines, two brothers, they're proteges when it comes to alchemy. And that's because, well, their dad was also an alchemist, and they used to study and look at his notes and shit like that. But yeah, Edward is the older brother, Ines is the little brother. And the thing is that the journey that those two take, the individual journeys, not even just the journey that they have together, but the individual journeys that they have within themselves was really good. Mustang was another good character, Roy Mustang. At first, you probably you have mixed feelings about him, but later on, you will enjoy and feel attached to his character. King Bradley, bro, that man's a fucking menace. The Homunculi and all that stuff like that. Beautiful casting. But I'm gonna go more into the characters later on. But the story. So how the story starts off, right? It's the two brothers, right? Two brothers, Edward and Heinz, two brothers. Their mother died from I think it was a sickness going around through the country. So the mother caught the sickness and she dies. So now the father left way before this. The father is already gone. It was just the mother, and she dies too. So mind you, they're like 6. I'm saying 6 or 10 years old around this time. Not pretty sure. They were like 6 to 10. That's the range I'm getting at around this time. And they wanted to use alchemy to bring back their mother. So they did all this study, all this training, how to understand how to use alchemy and stuff like that. And they were really good. You know, they was learning quick and stuff like that. But the thing is, human transmutation. Now, they knew it was considered a forbidden thing to do, but Edward thought if you did it right, you would bypass that rule. But human transmutation is forbidden from all, like, that's like blasphemy. You shouldn't do it. You cannot do it even. Like, it's crazy. So what human transmutation is bringing back the dead, basically. Bringing back something you lost. At first, we thought human transmutation is simply bringing back the dead, but later on we start to understand that human transmutation isn't just bringing back a loved one or someone from the dead. I think later on human transmutation becomes if you use the human transmutation on yourself to try to gain something, then that will count as human transmutation because you're seeing truth. What are you going to sacrifice, and what are you going to sacrifice to have this power? So or wherever you wish to have. More on that later. But yeah, that's the beginning, the basis of it. You feel me? Now they make this transmutation circle. They got all the ingredients and stuff like that, and so they perform the ritual, right? And shit went haywire. Shit went bad quickly. Like, I'm talking, you got these big black buff tentacles from a fucking black scene coming out, catching them and everything. Ein's body start to disappear. Fucking Edward loses his leg at first, and then fucking Edward's like, the fuck's happening? I did all the ingredients, everything's right. Like, I made this is perfect. Why is it not working? So he goes through this portal. You feel me? And we get to see the glimpses of what truth is. We get to see truth as a character. So that's basically the God of this universe. So he sees that his gateway, sort of say. He sees his gateway and get transported back, right? So his brother is gone. His body is gone. His soul is still there. And then the thing is, they were able to bring back something, but it wasn't their mother. The human transmutation failed. It didn't work. But they did bring back something that was not, it was living, but it was not human. And Ein's soul was in that creature, that thing, for a second. Until it went away. Until it was like fading away because his body was gone. So Edward used another transmutation to sacrifice now his arm so that his brother can come back. Well, his soul. So what he did was he sacrificed his arm and he put a transmutation on the suit. And then he bonded his brother's soul with the suit. Basically, he's alive, but now his soul is within the suit, right? Crazy shit. Fucking crazy. You feel me? So that's like where the story, the journey begins. So now we see them fast forward. Now they state alchemists. That's what they are now. And then state alchemists, you might think it's this because the first few episodes they start calling them dogs, or the first villain that you interact with, he tells you don't know what you're getting into. You don't know the history. You don't know what they do. And we'll figure out later on in the run that the hints that we're getting in the beginning was fucking crazy. So yeah.
And like I said, human transmutation is a very, very bad thing to even try to attempt. That's why when Roy Mustang and other characters like ask why, well, they don't even ask. They notice that his brother isn't physically in the suit, and when they notice that, they're like, oh shit, he just what? Especially at a young age like that too. Now, one of the first villains that we come to interact with was a evil priest, and he had this thing called the Philosopher's Stone. Well, you see how I said at the beginning of the video that you can't create something out of nothing and that there's a law of equivalent exchange? Well, this stone that he has lets him bypass these laws. And now they're also, the brothers are trying to find clues, hints, anything that they can find so that Edward can bring back his brother's body. So yeah, to beat that guy, yada yada. But the city now knows that that this god that they were praying to, and that this priest who said he had powers of what their god gave him, was all a lie. Now I want you to keep that in mind, because that plays a crucial, well, I wouldn't say yeah, it plays a crucial role and it backfires. And I say that we also get to see Edward's regretfulness. We get to see like he is truly regretful, and that he's trying to save the girl who was listening to the priest because she wanted to bring back her dead fiance, I think husband, fiance. But yeah, she wanted to bring him back. But Edward's trying to tell her that you can't do anything. You just gotta let it be.
People don't come back from the dead, Rose. Not ever. Not ever.
But he promised me. He said if I prayed it would happen. A miracle. That hope was all I had left. What am I supposed to believe in now? Tell me what to do. Please.
I can't tell you that. You have to figure it out. Stand up and walk. Keep moving forward. You've got 2 good legs, so use them.
Now, this regretfulness is something that we can all like relate to. And this is really why I like his character, because he really wants people to not do what he don't want people to go down the path that he went and the path that he's trying to undo right now. And it's just beautiful how they write it out, telling her like, hey, yo, there's nothing you can do about this. You just gotta let it be. I tried. Like, this is why I got my hand is robotic and my leg brother's in a suit. I tried, and this is the price that you will have to pay if you like keep trying to push this. You're trying to fight reality. This is the price you're gonna pay. And you see that a lot throughout this whole show, really. Even the main villain trying to fight reality, trying to make your own rules, just trying to play God, sort of sense, you know. Now we get to, I believe, the doctor, and like I said, they're trying to find hints and clues on how to, because they know what the Philosopher's Stone, what it can do, and they're trying to see how they can make a Philosopher's Stone, or how they can make a Philosopher's Stone, and how can they obtain one. So they see this doctor, right? And this it's all goody two shoes, you feel me? This doctor, yada yada, because he has a lot of books and research. So they ask, can they, read his books so they can get some more hints and clues on how to get Al's bodies back. His name is Al. Ines is his last name. Anyway. Yeah, so they're trying to get Al's body back. So he has a daughter. He used to have a wife, the doctor. But he said his wife left him or something like that. You feel me? So the brothers get attached to the daughter, and then it's this thing that state alchemists have to do or I think research-based state alchemists have to do, that they have to publish something that they're researching every, I think, year or 2 years, I believe. 2 years. You can fact check me. But yeah. And what he does is I think it's called animal transmutation. Having like animals be able to talk like a human, manipulate them and shit like that. So later down the episode, we see this dog, and he says he finally did it or something like that. He completed it, and this dog starts talking, and then they peep game and lock in that the dog that was transmutated, it was actually the doctor's daughter. So he took his daughter and transmutated it with a dog, and now, yeah, it's fucked.
That person, Edward. That person, Edward. Big brother Ed.
Mr. Tucker, when did you first get your state certification?
Let's see. It was 2 years ago.
And when did your wife leave you?
That was 2 years ago, too.
I just have one more question for you. Nina and Alexander. Where are they?
Damn brat, figuring it out so quickly.
Brother!
Oh yeah, I figured it out. You did it again! 2 years ago it was your wife. This time, you used your own daughter and her dog to transmute a talking chimera! You can only do so much with animals after all. It's much easier when you start with a human, isn't that right?
It's fucked. But yeah. Now this is where morality really plays in, because now the brothers feel like it's their fault. You feel me? They feel like they should take responsibility because they couldn't save her. They can't save her no matter what. Like no transmutation or something. That's too complex. It's damn near impossible. She has to be a dog. They can't do nothing about it. You feel me? So that was a tragic moment, like, cause we wasn't expecting that. And Edward decides not to, kill her, because he doesn't want to kill nobody. That's just his moral code. He don't want to kill nobody. But we get introduced to this character named Scar. And Scar is an Ishvallen. Before I even explain what Scar is, like the rest of the character of Scar. So Ishvallens is another race of people in Full Metal. And that they believed in a god to, instead of alchemy, or I believe that they believe in a god and that's why alchemy works. But that's not part. They believe in the god, right? And before I explain even further on that, just keep that in mind, that Scar was an Ishvallen, and him being an Ishvallen is very important. So he kills her. You feel me? Kills her. The reason why I say morality plays a huge point in this show is that, was it right to kill her? Or, as a matter of fact, who was right? Was Era right for letting her be? Or was Scar right for just ending her suffering? And me personally, I would say in the long run, Scar was right, and just because he didn't murder her, you feel me? He just put her out of her misery, because there's nothing that you can do. She will forever suffer because of her father. Now Scar does kill the doctor too. Now that's did he deserve to die? I say killing the doctor wouldn't really do nothing. It's just more of a revenge thing, more of a satisfaction. So, but did he deserve it? You can say yeah. That wouldn't be far-fetched. You could say he deserved it. But in Edward's point of view, no one deserves to die. no one deserves to die. But later on, we get to see that if it's someone close to him, or one of his close ones, relatives get killed, you know, he will understand that person's pain, and that if he wanted to kill them, then he will understand. But even he would still try to stop them. So I think that's a nice little critique in his character too. So yeah, all that fuckery happened. You know, now I like how they don't brush past it. This shit stays in their mind. This really fucks up Edward and Al. This fucks up their mind, like, to the point it's like, damn, should we just give up? It's like, what the fuck? What just happened? You feel me? And they put all this blame on themselves, you know. I think that's a very good thing to highlight, because it's showing the struggle. Because at first you see Edward as just very, you could say, cocky or confident protege in alchemy, and Al, this humble, nice little brother that's in this big gigantic suit, to the point where they're on their knees right now. Like, they feel like, why should they still continue? Like, I just like how they paint that in the show. I really do.
Our character Scar, he wants revenge. He wanted back in blood. He wants to avenge his people. That is why he is killing the state alchemist. And let's be real, can you really blame him? Your people were exterminated. And you also fought in this war, you know. And the feeling of revenge, the feeling of trying to avenge your people, I think anybody in his shoes would have done the same thing. You see, the thing about this show, each episode leaves off with something. Now, will I say it's a major cliffhanger? No, but I will say it leaves off with each episode. You want to continue. You need to know what happens. Not to the point of, like, God, I need to know what happens immediately, but it makes you remember the episode, and you want to know what's going to happen and how the story's going to progress.
Nonetheless, the journey continues, and they're still trying to find and discover the philosophy stone. Philosopher's stone. Philosophy stone. But yeah, the philosopher's stone. And then they go to this prison thing. You have Al. Al start questioning his own humanity, because one of the villains that he fought was in the same predicament that he's in. His soul is inside of a suit too. And to play mind games with him, you feel me?
Sure you and your brother are really related.
Well, I guess we don't look that much alike anymore.
No. That's not what I mean. Are you sure that you're not a puppet created and controlled by your so-called brother? Were you ever even a real person to begin with?
Are you really you? Or, like, the life that you lived before you got in that suit, was that even real? And that starts to fuck with him. That really starts to get in his head. Because, think of it like this, right? You're in a suit, no body, you feel me? You're in a suit now, can't feel nothing. You're not human no more, really. And now, you live, like, I think it's been like a couple years now you've been in that suit, you know? And then you have somebody that's in the same predicament as you, but like, hey, are you sure that you were a human, or your brother simply made you, so to say? So I think that was nice that they had some type of midlife crisis, you know, an identity crisis, you know. It shows how he's still a kid at the end of the day, you feel me, and still vulnerable, you know, and it's very valid how you felt the way you felt afterwards. And now you got Edward fighting this other guy that's in the suit too. You know, they throwing at it. Wow, they bashing and shit. You feel me? But it's after he defeats him. This is why I say morality plays a huge role in this show, and why I think Edward's a really good character is that you may be evil, but he still sees you as a human, as a person, And that's what the guy said. He said, even after all these years, everybody treated me as a killer, evil, horrible person, this, that, and the third. But you're the first person to treat me and my brother as a human. As a human, you feel me? That speaks volumes. Because mostly nobody is gonna treat someone of that caliber that way. You know, and Edward didn't even want to finish him off. You feel me? He didn't want to kill him or anything like that. He just wanted answers of who put him in that suit, and like if he has anything about the Philosopher's Stone and like that. You feel me? So it really highlights his character. And it speaks volumes that, and I like how it's in the prison too, because even though we have horrible people on this earth, at the end of the day, they are still human beings. At the end of the day, they still have the right, you should say, the right to be treated as such, which is very hard for people to accept and very hard for people to do, which is understandable. And yeah, and that's when we, I believe we probably already met Lust before then, but I think that's when Lust like actually did some action or something like that. The Homunculi. Now, what is Homunculi or Homunculus? Whew, fuck. So, in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, the Homunculi are created by Father, who uses Philosopher's Stones. And these stones, they create these humanoid looking creatures, but they're not humans, they're homunculi. So yeah, we have them, you feel me? And this is where they don't kill Edward because they're trying to save Edward and Al, because they're like the two important pieces of their major scheme down in the long run. So we get glimpses and teasers of that. We get I do believe we see Envy in that episode too. You know, and then they get out the prison, yada yada, and some shit starts going down now.
Now, to keep in mind, the two brothers, Edward and Al, aren't the only ones trying to find or use a Philosopher's Stone. So we are introduced to two other characters. His name is Ling Mei Chang. I think I said that right. So yeah, and those two, they are both competing for the stones because they want it for immortality, to be able to prolong their countries, or what you could call it, clans. Yeah, to prolong their clans for for the future, for future generations. So, but Ling, he wants to become the emperor, and he wants to be the emperor forever, so to say. So he wants to obtain immortality, and then Mei Chang wants to maintain the stones so that she can save her clan because it's slowly declining. So it's like a power struggle, so to say. Now the gang is back in Central. News spread like wildfire that Captain Hughes he was killed. Everyone is devastated by this fact.
It's a terrible day for rain.
What do you mean? It's not raining.
Yes, it is.
Oh, so it is.
And Mary Ross, who was the lieutenant, she was framed for the killing, like I said earlier. So, but Barry the Butcher and Ling try to help her escape. And as she was trying to escape, she runs into Roy Mustang. And Roy Mustang, he cooked her. I'm talking.
Hot Pockets!
He burned her alive. So, yeah, GG's on that. And that shit was crazy, because we never would have knew that he would actually do something like that. I'm talking cold-blooded. And yeah, that happened. But turns out that was staged. Roy Mustang didn't actually kill Mary Ross. It was actually his plan to make it seem like he killed her off. And they did it so good because it was just out of nowhere. Like, there was no hints or anything like that we can pick up on to say, like, oh, it was probably staged or something like that, because you will understand why Rowan Mustang would even try to do something like that, because, you know, that Captain Hughes was his friend, you feel me? And that someone that you thought was your comrade would betray you like that, you feel me? Because even the doctor says damn, you killed a little girl? Like, because he had the body of it, and it says, yep, that's her, like DNA and shit like that. But turns out the doctor was playing a part of it too. And since he knew how to make like a body to match the DNA of someone who's alive and something like that. So yeah, it was just crazy all around how they like come, like how it all came together was just, I really liked it.
Okay, so now they're getting all the pieces and shit like that. They're getting more and more hints to Philosopher's Stone. So they meet this doctor. I forget these characters' names. I'm so sorry. But they meet this another doctor, you feel me, that was one of the creators of the Philosopher's Stone, besides Father, or who discovered how to create a Philosopher's Stone. And then we come to realize that in order to create a Philosopher's Stone, you need human sacrifice. You need a lot. I'm talking about and the thing is, you take the souls of those humans. So they don't necessarily like go to like an afterlife or anything like that. Those souls stay within the Philosopher's Stone. So it's like everlasting torment, really. And they find that out, and they shook, as they should be, you know, because the thing is, in order for them, now they know how to make a Philosopher's Stone, and if not even try to make it, they know what a Philosopher's Stone is and how it's made. And now they want to use that to get his brother's body back. But the thing is, Edward and Al, they don't like killing anyone, and the fact they had to use the stone to bring his body back, even though that stone requires human sacrifice, and that stone has a lot of souls in them. So it's like they can't kill. They don't want to kill no one, and they don't want to use an object that was in the result of killing innocent people. So it's like they're in like a tough situation, you know. And then they decide that they don't want to use the Philosopher's Stone no more, or there can be another way to make a Philosopher's Stone without having human sacrifice. But they don't want to use they don't want to use anything that would require to sacrifice another human. They don't want to use it. They don't want to do it. They don't want to use an object like that or make an object like that. They don't want out the window. Even though they're very desperate and trying to find something to bring back Al's body. So I think, yeah, that's very deep when you think about it, because it's testing their morality, and it's like, who are you gonna put above your brother or like other people? You feel me? Edward's a very righteous type of character, you know, because even Al, he doesn't even want his brother to even use a Philosopher's Stone to get his body back, and that he's gonna find another way, because just using something that has other human souls in it is like taboo to them. It's like, nah, ain't gonna cut it. So yeah, they discover that, you feel me, and now we get to understand the homunculi a little bit more, because later on we meet this character called Greed. Now Greed is a homunculus, and now for the homunculus, I'm probably saying it wrong, but I know it's homunculi. Anywho, there are 7. It goes by the 7 deadly sins. And that was created by, like I said, Father, who separated his emotions to create these stones. So, we meet Greed, you know, and he's a homunculus. and I believe a homunculus is a artificial created human. I might be wrong, but yeah, sort of along that line. We have greed, and then like the name entitles it, a greedy person. He just want money, anything that he can have his hands on. He just want that, So we start to get a little bit more information about those type of creatures. So, they have a fight scene, him and Edward, they start throwing hands. And then Edward can fight. Edward's very smart. He, even on the brink of death, he thinks of these situations to get out of it. And he was able to think of how to bypass the impenetrable defense, I think that was called. These homunculus, they can die, but it's very, very hard. Like, I'm talking about damn near almost impossible, because they regenerate from any wound. So if you behead them, shoot them, anything like that, they just keep regenerating. You feel me? Even if you burn them alive, they just keep regenerating. So it is like OP as shit. So we see that, and then like I said, they start fighting and shit like that. We see King Bradley in action. You see him fight. He just OP strong old dude. He uses 2 swords as he fights, and he takes down greed with no problem, like 0-2. But we start. This is my favorite thing. It's how the voice actor of King Bradley was perfect. When I say perfect, that shit was perfect. And how they pictured that character. Like, at first, you think King Bradley was a good dude. At first, you're like, oh, King Bradley is like a chill, good, gonna be one of them cool, old characters that's gonna try to help the main, like Edward and them, you feel me? But his tone, how he talks, and how he was talking to Al, it's very like, something's up. He doesn't want something. Like, there's something about him that's bad.
Brother of Edward Elric? They didn't hurt you, did they? Can I help you at all? With you before you could leave. Have either of you had any previous dealings with a man who referred to himself as Greed?
Of course not.
Did you happen to trade any manner of information with him? I am curious about your steel arm and leg and your brother's armor body. Is there any connection between the two? You really are an honest kid. Huh? All right, men, pull out. And you make sure to take good care of your younger brother, Edward.
That was very crazy. And then later on, we get to see that King Bradley is not actually a good guy. No, he is a bad guy. He's actually homunculus too. But the thing is, he's a special type of homunculus. What I mean by that is that how can I say it? He wasn't artificially made. At first, he was a human. They had a lot of prospects, a lot of people, a lot of subjects to see who was going to be able to withstand the Philosopher's Stone's power. And he was one of the people that succeeded. You feel me? So he was a human, but he was infused with the stone. So he doesn't have none of the regenerative abilities like his other brethren, but he's still OP as shit.
So fast forward a little bit, they get into a fight with Gluttony and Envy. It's the usual, it's Ed and Al, and then Prince Ling is also fighting with them. But Gluttony has a trick up his sleeve, and you see his stomach opens and there's an eye inside of it. He then attacks with his stomach, and it seems that his stomach sucks in everything in its direction. And with this, Ed and Ling are both sucked into the stomach, along with Envy. Now, they thinking that they have a way to get out of there, but comes to find out that Gluttony's stomach is empty. It's emptiness. It's darkness itself. Like, nothing can escape out of it, and even Envy was thinking like, yeah, we're not getting out of this, we're cooked. But Ed then began to use his big brain, and he was able to find a way to get out.
So that's what the real one looks like.
The real one?
Gluttony is a failed experiment by our father to create his own portal of truth.
He's a what?
Despite how powerful our father is, he still couldn't create one. We're trapped inside a defective portal of truth. So this place, it exists somewhere in between reality and truth.
In between?
And I can assure you that there's no way out of here. The only option we've got is to sit here until our strength runs out.
Now, in order for them to escape, Ed had to travel through the gates of truth. And then when he does this, he's seen his brother, Al, as his body is very fragile. And this is like one of my top 3 favorite scenes of this show. I'd say even in anime because it's just so impactful. Like, just look at it.
I can only leave with my own soul. I'm sorry I can't go with you.
Coming back for you! Just you wait! Wait for me!
Like when he just opens the door again and makes sure he let his brother know that he's coming back for them. It was just, bro, I think it was beautiful. Their dynamics and how Ed is not giving up and sticking up for his brother. And just that finger, that angle that they did, I don't know, it just made it so much more powerful. So yeah, and then this was able to make them go back into the real world and escape from Gluttony's belly. And remember when I said Ling wanted to be immortal? Well, Father wanted to, when he made a new greed philosopher's stone, he wanted another host, and Ling said, fuck it, this is what I wanted. And when the stone is infused inside him, this is the new greed now. And this is like a Naruto and Kuruma type dynamic, because greed is using Ling's body as a host, but Ling is able to switch in and out with him. At first, it's not whenever he chooses, he had to like use his will to switch with him, but later on, they were able to switch out with each other whenever they felt like it. And they're like I said, their dynamic and how they progressed together was so beautiful.
That's the new greed. And this new greed plays a huge role in the story too, and a huge role in the final bits and stuff of the anime. So yeah, we have that. Later on in the story, we see that the master also did human transmutation. So she was pregnant, but it was I think it was a miscarriage. So yeah, the thing is, she wanted to bring that baby back to life, and she did the human transmutation, same thing that Edward and Al did, and then she seen truth, and she paid the price. So since she tried to bring back the dead, she lost her reproductive organs. So yeah, and the same thing happened to her. The baby, the thing wasn't a baby. It was just a corpse that was just yeah. So stuff of that nature, which is sad, and it shows that human transmutation should not be performed. That is, you cannot play God. You cannot do it. It's not possible. So find that out. But we also have flashbacks, of how they first met their teacher, how they first understood how to use alchemy. You know, all is one and one is all. Because that ties in with equivalent exchange and how nature and how the laws of the universe works. And once they understood that, they're able to use alchemy and shit like that. Now, Roy Mustang alchemy is so cold, bro. Like, fire alchemy, that was my favorite thing. That's like one of my favorite things in the whole show. It's when Roy Mustang, when he did that snap, business was finna go down. But yeah, so he fought Lust, and then Lust thought he was about to bleed out because she stabbed him, but he used his fire alchemy to seal up the wound and shit like that. So he back in blood. That snap, bro. I'm telling you, man, when he did that pose, he said fling, bro, fire, literally fire. But so it shows that the Homunculus, you can kill them. It's just very, very hard to do. As all he did was he just kept spamming that fire. He just kept spamming that. You feel me? So as he kept spamming that, I think you still have to use the energy or the souls to like regenerate yourself. You feel me? So I think if you just keep attacking, or as in this case, keep burning them, then the energy is used up. She can't regenerate no more, and it breaks the stone. So yeah, I think the fire alchemy is OP as shit. You feel me? Because if you're in this site and they hit you with that snap, you can't do nothing about it, really. So yeah, he just kept burning her alive, kept killing her until she actually dies. So yeah, that was cool and all, but the stone, I think the stone disintegrates in the process. I'm not sure. I think it does disintegrate in the process. So yeah, that happens. Roy kills Lust. I think Greed escapes. I think Greed escaped. But yeah, Lust is dead, out of the discussion.
Now Scar meets up with the doctor, and then Edward meets up with Hawkeye, and Hawkeye starts confessing, her sins of what she did in that war. Just think about it. You're fighting for your country, but you are given orders to do something that makes you question why. And you're exterminating now. Like, you're killing innocent people. You know what you're doing is horrible. You know you shouldn't be doing this. You yourself don't want to do this, but you still do it. And this is like one of the sides of war that a lot of people don't talk about. Most soldiers or most people who fight for their country, they don't really want to kill anyone, or they don't really want to hurt innocent lives. But it does shows in some instances it still happens. Even in real life, that happens. It's very unethical, but it's like, what are you willing to do for your country? Even if this is morally horrible. I believe General Armstrong, the big buff guy, was like the only one who just couldn't do it. He couldn't, bro was in tears, because it's like, just imagine that you are in a war, you fighting against other soldiers. Okay, that's whoop-de-doo. But now you have to actually exterminate innocent people, even children. I'm talking about, you gotta watch this, and you have to do it yourself. And they all did that. They all participated in it. And how much bloodshed that's on their souls. So much destruction. These sins they cannot run away from. And Hawkeye understands this, and she accepts this. Very tragic. Would you be able to take an innocent life for your country? Even if it's orders, would you still do it? Would you literally destroy children, families, not just soldiers, bystanders? Would you be able to do that? Would you push through? Or let's say even if you did do that, would you be able to live with yourself afterwards?
Now, Ed's father. I gotta take my glasses off. When I say this, I hated that man with a passion. I'm talking about throughout the whole series. Well, towards the ending when we get his backstory and stuff like that. But in the beginning, I hated that nigga. I'm not gonna lie. Did not like him. And, you know, then we see Edward, he finally meets his father. He finally, after all these years, you feel me, after all this time, he, you know, Edward went to go see his mom, went to her grave and whatnot, and his father is there. Man, I'm not gonna lie, bro. If I was Edward, I would have socked the shit out of him. I'm not gonna lie.
To have grown some. I spoke with Pinocchio. You tried human transmutation.
What makes you think you can show up like this? There's nothing left for you here anymore.
I noticed. Tell me, Edward, what possessed you to burn down my home?
After what happened, we vowed to never turn back. We did it as a symbol of our resolve.
No, you didn't. You were hiding the memory. You didn't want to be reminded of what you've done, and thought you could erase the memory by destroying the evidence.
You're wrong!
It's just like a child who hides the sheets after he wets the bed. You ran away, and you know it.
You don't know a damn thing! You make me sick to my stomach.
Did not like his father at first. But, you know, later on, it's like, damn, I take back everything that I felt towards him. I'm not gonna lie. So, after, you know, that reunion, after his father and Pinocchio, or the grandmother of, what's her name? The blonde chick, you know, Edward's friend. You know, after that, he then later he realizes that the bones of the resurrection, like the human transmutation, wasn't his mother's. So the human transmutation, the thing that they tried to resurrect, they tried to bring back their mom, but it wasn't even their mother that they brought back.
Granny, Mom's hair was a light chestnut color. This is black.
This femur, it's much too long. And this pelvis, pretty sure it's male.
It is?
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid this isn't your mother, Ed.
Now, there's some people that says, oh, it's probably Al, you know, since for a brief moment Al was inside the creature, and he lost his body, or they said it could have been someone else, or it possibly could have still been their mother, but I don't agree with neither of them. I think they were trying to summon, since they were trying to summon their mom, it didn't work out because the soul is unique, you feel me? Even though they had the ingredients for a human, that's it. They had the ingredients to bring back a human, but now a functioning, full blood walking, you feel me, something that's exactly like their mother wasn't possible. You feel me? So I don't think it was neither of them. I just think it was actually a human corpse that they made. That's it. They made a human living fucked up corpse. So that's what I think what actually happened. And then the hair was black. Yeah, I just think it was just they made it human, but it wasn't, you know. So yeah, they found that out, you know. Nigga, Edward struck. He said, you know, because this is crazy information that he's getting. You know, he just sacrificed everything. And he failed, but now he realizes he failed like badly. Like shit. Like you thought it was worse. It became more worse. So yeah, that was kind of tragic for him. Then the story is still progressing. You know, you don't really miss anything. Well, I'm not saying you don't miss anything, but stories start progressing to the point that we find out that Renri, that's her name. That's Renri. Her parents were in the war and they were doctors, you know. But the thing is, they helped everybody, you know, and they was even helping the Ishvallens, you know, when they were injured on the battlefield, they would help them. So they were like true doctors, help anybody that was injured or in need. We find out that Scar was one of their patients, and Scar kills the doctors, which was Renri's parents. Plot twist. So yeah, Scar kills her parents. And he admits to this that yeah, he killed their parents. But I think when they showed the flashback from Scar's point of view, that when he woke up, it was in a state of rage. Now he wasn't thinking straight. He just seen someone that wasn't Ishvallen and said, yeah, kill him. You gotta understand he was fighting the war. So when he woke up, you know, and then he also had his brother's arm now. And you see these doctors, so you don't know what's going on, you feel me? So I don't think he was in the right state of mind when that happened. Still, he did admit, like, he killed her parents. So, very good twist, you know, because now everybody was siding with Scar. Like, no, he's not, you know, what he's doing is not really, what he's doing is bad, but, like, can you blame the guy? But now he killed one of the characters' parents. So, that's tough. And then, you know, Edward trying to convince her, don't do it, yada yada. You know, she's really about to blow that bitch, you feel me? But she doesn't in the end. And then she started blaming herself like, oh, almost got you and Al killed because I wasn't able, yada yada yada. You know, she started feeling regretful because, you know, she did put them in a more dangerous situation that she did that. But Edward says this quote, which is very good. He says, your hands were meant to bring life, not end it. Now think about it. Renri is what do you call it? She makes robotic parts. Let's put it like that. She makes robotic parts, you feel me, that helps people. You know, she makes these parts that when they lose a limb or stuff like that, it helps people, you know. So she make these robotic parts. And in the previous episode, she was able to help someone to give birth. You know, she was able to bring life. So combine that with the fact that she builds things to help life as well. You know, I think that quote really fits her well, that she was meant to bring things into life, not end it. She's meant to create things, and it just fits well with her character. So I think that was a great thing that he said to her. I think it summed up her character very good, and it shows Edward is maturing. You know, he's showing that he's learning from his mistakes and stuff like that, and his morality is so. His morality, you can't really be mad at the guy. He's very, like I said, he's very righteous. Edward as a character. So, not saying he doesn't have any flaws and stuff like that, but he's very righteous as a character. You know. And yeah, I just think that what he told her was it hit home, and I like how they did that. So it begs the question: what would you do when you found out who was your loved ones or anyone that you care for killer? Knowing you personally, what would you do? Would you actually pull that trigger? You know, just think about it. Would you really pull that trigger? Would that satisfy you? Do you think you're avenging them? Is this justice? And it's a very, you might think it's a simple question to answer, but it's very complex, sort of say, because taking life isn't easy, and then the reason behind it is for, at the end of the day, revenge. You know, it's, you start to think about that more. You start to think about, how is this truly good? What you're doing truly good? Is this what you should do? Is this what you really want? Because at the end of the day, I don't think Renry really wanted to kill Scar. Really. Maybe like in that instant, that moment, she felt like, yeah, I wanted to kill him, but like generally, I do not think deep down she wanted to kill him. She just wanted her parents back. That's it. She just wanted her parents back. You know? And rightfully so. But I think it's a good question to think about. You know, me personally, we're all humans at the end of the day. You know, I say if anybody had the opportunity, depending on how long it was, I think anybody would have probably, you know, took the shot. But that's why you should have like outside forces, like, you know, for example, Edward, trying to convince her like, this is not you. You are not meant for this. You were meant for something greater, something bigger. Hopefully we can all have a friend that thinks of us that way, so we won't go down that path, you know, go down that struggle, that journey. Because once you do that, once you kill someone, there's no going back, you know, even if it's for revenge or even if they did something horrible to you, you know. Like he said, her hands were made for life. Her hands were made to create life. It wasn't made to take away life. So it's like, yeah, me personally, I don't even know what I would have actually done. Like I said, I think if you have that the outside force, someone who's trying to make sure that you stay true to your morals, true to who you are, probably wouldn't take the shot, but who knows? Alright, so now I forgot to mention what alchemy is. Now, alchemy is the same thing as alchemy, but it's a little different on how they use it and how it's it's different of what the source of that power comes from. Since alchemist, alchemy, it comes from the tectonic plates of objects or the energy of objects, while alchemy uses the chi of things. I might be wrong, but yeah. So Al and Edward is trying to learn more on alchemy because they think that's like another way of bringing back Al's body back potentially, instead of using the stones. So they want to learn more about that. So all that's good and dandy. Also, they think it's another way to hurt father, since alchemy is completely useless against him, but it showed that he can't cancel out alchemy, since when he shut down alchemy for everybody, the princess, she was able to still use her alchemy. So I think that's like something that can be able to at least hurt father. So on their journey, right, they get stopped by, well, they land in Fort Briggs, which is the border of fucking, hold on, research what it was called again, but it's a border between Ametrius and Drachma, and Fort Briggs is the border. So they run into them. This is where we meet Major Armstrong's sister, Olivier, who is the head of Fort Briggs, and get into a fight with one of the subordinates. Then they're taken in. All the good shit happens. And then we found out that Sloth is underground. That Sloth is there. And the thing is, Sloth has been digging underground throughout the whole country. And Edward peep game lock in. He's like the reason why Sloth is digging is because father is making a transmutation circle. He's finna sacrifice the entire country. Sacrificed everybody in that country to make a Philosopher's Stone. Now, Kimberly, we already met him a little bit earlier on in the story. Crazy guy, wearing a white suit, like a fake ass Michael Jackson. But yeah, he tells them, well, he is the one who put a scar on Scar's face and shit like that. You know, and he was in the war with the Mistress and shit like that. I think his name, they call him the Crimson Red Alchemist. But anywho, he tells Edward that he has Renry hostage, and that, you know, you gotta follow what he's telling you to do, which is to help make sure that the transmutation circle is complete, you know. And Edward agrees to this, yada yada, but you know he has a plan, of course. And then later on, Scar now teams up with Ed and Al and all of them, and acts like he takes Renry hostage. Well, so acting that he's taking Renry hostage and shit like that. And time is already ticking, but we start to see that time is ticking quick because Al's soul is rejecting the suit. Since even though his soul is bonded to the suit, you can't. At the end of the day, the soul needs the body. The soul and body are one. You feel me? So the soul needs its original body, and it turns out that the suit keeps shutting down. Like, he keeps going back into the to his gate. So they need to really hurry up because it can be permanent, you know, which is crazy. Because at first we thought, oh, if they just look long enough, then they'll be able to find be able to have his body come back. Now it's, if they don't find it in time, he's gone. Al, you know, he's gone. So this is temporary. The suit is temporary now. So, and as all this is happening, you know, you got they find out that King Bradley is not on their side. King Bradley is actually evil. He's a homunculi, and he's trying to do what Father told him to do. Throughout his entire span of being the king, it was just to complete the human transmutation. Even the higher ups in the military know about this, and they're trying to complete it too. And they're trying to make immortal soldiers by using the stones. That's why they had other scientists experiment and do research on how to make more Philosopher's Stones. And when they made these Philosopher's Stones, they were using it to make these soldiers that they were creating. So everybody's in it. Everybody's in this evil scheme. All the higher ups. Now, regular soldiers and like lieutenants stuff, like, they don't know. But like the higher ups that works with King Bradley, yeah, they're very evil. They're working with Father, basically. So he didn't have no hints of this. Like, it was just like, what the fuck? But it made sense. Like, it all came together. It makes sense. And now that the military isn't what we all thought was. The Mistress military was evil. It's horrible. And that there's people, good-hearted people working for that military, thinking that what they're doing is right.
The ones you serve are what their true plans are?
Who cares? It's not my problem.
Don't be a fool! He'll lead us all to ruin. I'm only doing what needs to be done.
I told you I don't care!
And greed, like I said, it plays a very important role. Greed and Ling, as they progress together, you know, they start to question what their ideals are, what they truly want. You know, Greed is the same. He wants all the power in the world, and Greed disbands. Like, he's saying, "No, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm not even gonna work with Father." You feel me? And Ling, he wants immortality. He's letting this play through, but he is taking control. Here and there, he takes control. But when he takes control, Greed doesn't sort of gets mad or angry. Like, how can I say? He doesn't get that upset. You feel me? And you start to see this bond that they start to form later on. They start to form this bond, and that they start to become one. You know, all is one and one is all. Like literally, they start to become one as a character, as they are very similar too, even though they're different characters. I think that's a great thing to point out, those two, because the duality of both these characters, you may think they want two different things, but they share the same common goal, sort of say. Now, like I said, there are different homunculi that are based on the 7 deadly sins, and one of them is pride. And this whole time, the homunculus pride was the King Bradley's son that he adopted, which was fucking crazy. Cause Hawkeye peeped this out. Hawkeye was the first one to peep this out. And side note, I like how they communicate too. When they communicate, they gotta be real careful and secretive when they do that shit. And like they doing all these codes, this writing, like these sentences that look like normal sentences, but they gotta decode it. Like that's what Mustang did with when he was talking to Hawkeye when she passed him that note, because he's being watched, so he had to decode it and shit like that. And when they talk on the phone, they gotta like, they talk normally to us, but like they're actually giving out a message.
I said hello. You got it. See ya. Well, now, she wants me to say hi to Havoc. Huh. But I'm sure you'll like this. Here you go. Only one per day, though.
Oh, thanks, Lieutenant. And I do, Colonel.
No, thanks. I'd better take off.
No, trust me. You can use this one.
Promised day arrives. The North and East will make their move.
They're hyacinths.
Well, apparently, Scar is up in the north. The Elric brothers are up there as well.
I see.
My former classmates Lucy and Ian are stationed up there. They like to keep me informed.
Aren't the North and East conducting joint exercises this spring?
Yes, I think you're right about that. I hope Major Miles and Buccaneer don't show us up like they have in the past.
Miles. Buccaneer. Okay. And York, Ida, and Sugar all spoke to her too. Havoc. Oscar. Mike. Uni. Nora. Charlie. Then Uni and Lucy again. Uni once more. And then Sterling. Salim Bradley as a homunculus.
I just think stuff like that was just fucking cool. I like how they showed that out. That was very interesting how they communicated. And it gave off, they're in the military, so you know, it gave off that military type vibe. But yeah, Pride is a homunculus. So they fought him. You know, his power is darkness. If there's any light source, you know, GG's, he's very overpowered. Al, Ed, and Ling, you know, they're fighting him. You know, they don't win, but they were able to, like, I won't even say stalemate. They were able to escape, you feel me? But they do encounter him again, like when they were done fighting. Elle and Pride are now trapped together in this little dome that I think Elle made. So yeah, trapped in that. Countries is in war right now. Also, before when they were talking to Scar and Scar agreed to act like Winry was hostage, the Chimeras, even before that, joined teams with Ed. And that's because Kimberly basically said, fuck them. When they were fighting, the building came down, he just said, fuck them niggas. Chimeras start to form, they start to team up with Ed and everybody, you know. And the fact that Chimeras joined sides with Ed, it shows that when you watch the show, you start to pick up that enemies started to become allies. Or like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That saying really shows what's happening in that show, you know. Cause think about it, chimeras, you got Ling, you got the princess. Now they're not really enemies, but they're not allies at first. So you got those. You got at first you can say at first you got Barry the Butcher, and then you got Greed, Scar, the Ishvallen, some of the ones that who survived these Ishvallens, and yeah, you start to see these. They start to work together. They start to become allies, even though they were initially not. And now you see Fort Briggs fighting against the Mestrias, even though they are supposed to protect the Mestrias, like the border, because so they're the border, so they're supposed to protect them. So you know, I like that shit is. You will not expect that. I just love how they did that. So back to Ed's dad, Ed and Al's dad, cause you know before all the Promised Day and the invasion, we get to see more of his backstory and the reason why he left. Cause at first, we thought he was human, but their dad is actually a philosopher's stone, a living philosopher's stone. The first homunculi or homunculus, whichever one it is, because father was this black essence that was in the tube at first, you know, and thousands of years back, his name is Hollingheim. I think I'm pronouncing it right or wrong, whatever. But Hollingheim was the one who tended that tube, you know. He was a slave at first, and then he became free, yada yada yada. The tube, the black essence thing that he tricked him, or tricked the king, I would say, that to immortality. But in reality, he took up all the souls that was living in that country to make him escape that tube, and also he used half the souls to make Hollingheim immortal. So out of his own will. So yeah, and you know, you got Hollingheim spending his whole life to how to stop father. You feel me? And that's why he left. He had to leave because he knew something was coming and he had to prepare for it. And it also shows that he actually cared for his sons and especially his wife. He really cared for her.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
A photographer?
Yes, let's fix you up. You know we don't have a single family picture.
That's pretty short notice. Sure.
Okay, we're ready. You can go ahead.
This isn't good.
Okay, look right here. And hold still, please.
What you don't see, dear, is that someday I'm going to be a wrinkled old monster myself. So today, we are going to take this picture, and I'll be able to remember us all together, smiling. No matter what, we're always a family. So even if you're scared, don't try distancing yourself from us. And one other thing, too. Stop calling yourself a monster. It's not true.
Say cheese, everyone.
He's taking it. Smile, dear.
My plan was to take this body, and in doing so, to extend my life. But things are different now. I want to be with Trisha and the boys. To grow old and die with them.
Because he didn't think didn't expect himself to fall in love with a human, let alone have kids too. So, yeah. And like the picture that they took, he started crying. It's like, damn. That's all you can say is damn. It's just crazy. So yeah, you get to see more of his character in his backstory. He's actually he's a good father, you know. He may not express it in the best ways, but he's a good father. He did what he had to do. You know, treat his wife well. His wife understood her. His wife knew what he was doing, and she understood that he trusted him. You feel me? So, like I said, at first I did not like him. I hated him. But then when I saw the backstory and stuff like that, I'm like, can't judge a book by its cover. So, yeah. Now, and he plays a major role because on the Promised Day, you feel me, they got Mustang, Ed, Al, Edward, 5 human sacrifices, you know. Yeah, it was 5 human sacrifices. Ed, Al, Uzumi, which was Ed and Al's teacher, and Mustang. Now, the thing about this is how they did Mustang was dirty as shit. So, a homunculi cannot perform human transmutation. So, and that's like, that's the way to be able to see your gate, to see the truth. You feel me? And they needed that. So, they forced Mustang to perform a human transmutation. And even though he was forced, this man still paid the consequences. He lost his eyesight. You know, Brody lost his eyesight. I'm talking about the nigga's blind. And the thing is, he wanted to be able to use his power to rule the country for the greater good. He wanted to make the country a better place because he knows it's corrupt. He wanted to lead. He thought he was the better leader. He wanted this power. You feel me? He wanted to see change. And then with that, his eyesight was taken. Like he couldn't see the vision. He couldn't see his vision no more. He couldn't see the future because that's what he was looking towards to. He was looking towards the future, and that was taken away from him.
Entire body to have it replaced by a suit of armor that could feel nothing. The woman who sought to bring back her only baby was given a body that would never again bear children. And then, the man who looked to change his nation had his eyesight taken from him, and now he could no longer see his future.
Even though he didn't perform it, which was shitty, it says a lot about his character, you feel me? So it left him blind, but that also left the homunculus pride weak, and Ed was able to take care of him, and it showed that even though pride seemed like this evil being, he actually cared about his mother, which was interesting because he's been around for a long time, and the fact that he had these type of feelings and actually wanted to be a kid. And when Ed finally defeated pride, the homunculi, he was just a small fetus or a small baby. That was like, I'm talking about put him in the palm of your hand. It would just, that's how small he was. And because Edward was able to see his inner thoughts, his inner feelings, you feel me? That he actually, you know, even though he obeyed his father and stuff like that, he actually really cared about his mother. Like the mother he actually really cared about, shit like that. He wanted a normal child's life, sort of say. So, which was very interesting for them to twist it like that. Which I think it worked great in that situation, in that story. Now, how can I forget the best character out of the whole show? General Armstrong. Now, I mentioned him a little bit earlier, but I didn't really go in full depth. But his character, by far one of my favorites, if not my favorite character. He got that masculine Chad personality. I love the English dub voice actor of him. forgot he played somebody else, but I forgot. But regardless, I love his character design. He's a true OG, you feel me? He got Ed and Al's back. It's just, he's loyal, and I just fuck with his whole character, you feel me? And he had one of the best anime scenes, you feel me, when he dabbed up Izumi's husband.
Incredible valor! Respectable muscles!
Like, iconic. But I like how he uses alchemy. It fits his personality. Yeah, I just love his character. I just had to put my goat in there. You know, I couldn't just leave him out there. He gotta have like a little small section to himself. Yeah, you just 10 out of 10 character. Now, Father is able to, after he uses the sacrifices and stuff like that, he's able to activate the Earth's Gate. Now, people, when you first watch it, you would think that he absorbed truth, like the God. But no, that's not what actually happened. Because he already stated, like, previous, that the Earth is conscious. You know, it's conscious. And what he did was he opened the Earth's Gate. Now, when something has consciousness, they have a gate. And since Earth is conscious, it has its gate as well. And what he wanted to do, he wanted to take all the knowledge from Earth and use that knowledge to be able to take off the restrictions so he can finally be free. You take this combined with the big human transmutation to sacrifice all the souls of Demetrius, and now all of the souls are now inside of him, plus the Ishvallens and the souls from 1,000 years ago that he sacrificed first. Now he has the power of God. He's God right now. Well, I wouldn't say like truth like God, but in our eyes, he's God right now. He has the powers of God. So, you know, he started to demonstrate his powers, making an actual sun in his fucking hands. A small sun in his hands, you know, and he's back to his younger self and stuff like that. And now all that is left is the 5 sacrifices. So you think everything's finna go haywire, Father wins, but Hohenheim, he had a plan for this. He had a counter to the human transmutation circle. He did a counter for it. And when that was activated, he used the souls, the souls that was inside him. He used the souls that was inside him to activate this circle. And when that happened, that reversed the process of when the Mestrius souls were inside Father. So the Mestrius souls were now reversed and set free, and were put back into, you know, everybody's body. So reversing the process. So, you know, Father is still powerful and all, and they start fighting, you know, but now they have somewhat of a slight chance, sort of say. So, and this is why I said Greed is like the MVP, because Greed, before Greed went to go fight on Father, him and Scar and Bradley fought. You know, and when Scar and Bradley fought, I think it was painted beautifully, because you got Scar and Ishvallen, his people were genocide, and he wants to take revenge. King Bradley was the man who sought out that order, and he has no regret of it. And now these two these two sides are colliding now. They're finally fighting. And, you know, Bradley's overpowered as shit. Even though he's injured, he's still whooping Scar's ass. But Scar begins to use reconstruction alchemy. This thing that Edward mostly used, or like you can say anybody used, but Edward used, instead of his deconstruction alchemy. So anything he started to use alchemy too. But yeah, when he was fighting King Bradley, he won. He was able to win. But I do think how those parallels start to fight against each other, and Scar was able to come up on top. And then as Bradley's dying, you know, he had no regrets. He didn't have no crazy final words or any last words or anything like that. But he loved his wife. He loved his wife. But yeah, bro died just like how you expect him to die.
I guess I was mistaken. I thought the science of alchemy was abhorrent in the eyes of Ishvallen, the one you believe to be the creator of all things. Have you abandoned your god? You would leave him so easily? Is your god so readily lost to your people? Is he? Hearing the Ishvallen civil war. When you were surrounded by nothing but despair. Surely somewhere in the darkest depths of your heart, you began to believe that there was no God in this world at all!
Here to avenge your grandfather. Very well. Go ahead.
Any last words you'd like to say?
None.
Such a sad life. Tell me, Bradley, was there anyone who you loved? Any friends? Your wife?
My wife?
Are you saying you have nothing? No message for her? When she finds out what you are?
Your trivial words of sorrow, of love and guilt mean nothing to me, young lady. My wife understands. She is the woman that I chose to live by my side. There are no more words that need to pass between us now. That's what it means to be the wife of the Führer. And now you've spent all your time asking useless questions and lost your opportunity for vengeance. What a shame. By forever following the path that had been set for me, thanks to the idiosyncrasies of humanity, it was, at least, a life worth living for, and maybe even a life worth dying for.
The reason why Scar was even able to keep up with Bradley was because before, what's her name? Olivier, which was the head of Fort Briggs, the leader of Fort Briggs, the general there. Her subordinates were trying to fight or take down King Bradley. He got injured trying to deal the final blow. One of Ling's subordinates got injured trying to deal the final blow, and then but they were able to do it. You feel me? And then, you know, Greed came in and they started fighting, and as they're fighting, you feel me, Bradley gets knocked down and he wasn't able to keep his grip, and he falls into the lake. You know, they thinking, oh, he probably drowned, he's dead, but no, he came back, and that's how him and Scar started fighting.
And also, Ling is a really good character, especially what he said to King Bradley. two kings, but different ideologies and how they treat their own people. And it's also cool that you see these small scenes that Greed is actually agreeing with Ling. He may not say it, but the small facial expressions that you see, it says a lot. And I think their connection solidified when Old Man Fu tried to sacrifice himself, and they both screamed out no for him. Not just Ling, but also Greed.
You stubborn fool! I'm taking you straight to hell with me, Bradley! You bastard!
Even while sacrificing myself, I still couldn't lay a single scratch on him.
That King Brad, bro, she was like unkillable, like fucking crazy. So yeah, now when Greed approached Father, you feel me? He sacrificed himself. To summarize it, he sacrificed himself, and it's crazy that he did that because he said what his goal wanted to be. He wanted to rule the world. You feel me? He wanted to rule the world, and that's why he wanted to like defeat Father. But in the midst of him sacrificing himself, it showed what he really wanted, in that he wanted friends, literally. After all the stuff he said and what he's made to be, and even his name, he just wanted friends. You know, people that he can cherish. So, which is completely the opposite of his nature. And you get to see hints and stuff like that, because as he thinks of previous Greed's friends, you know, because you got Ling in his head telling him about this stuff, and like getting to his head, and he start thinking about it like, shit, he might be right, you know. And then him and Ling's relationship start to grow, so it just, she like, yeah, I just wanted some friends for real.
He was extracted from his greed, and the power that's trying to reclaim me is a hell of a lot stronger than your body!
You can't just give up! Tough it out! Oh no! My body! I won't let go!
You know, it's not quite as ideal as being king of the world, but I can make do with Emperor of Xing. Let's fight him together! Hey, partner!
That's more like it! What are you...
It's time to say goodbye, kid. There's no point in you getting sucked into my old man with me.
Hold on a second, Greed! You just told me we'd fight together! Didn't you? You can't just sucker punch me like that! How could you lie? You always said you don't believe in telling lies! It can't end this way!
Ah, you fell for it! Hook, line, and sinker, you little pissant! That was the one and only lie of my life. Lon Fawn has a Philosopher's Stone, so you don't even need me anymore, kid.
But I do. Wait, Greed! No, wait! Don't do this!
Hey! Lon Fawn! Later.
Greed, no! No, Greed!
How could you? Greed! I finally got away from that annoying brat! Why, Greed? Why would you betray your own father? I've always had a rebellious streak, Pops. Don't act so surprised. I've reversed the ultimate shield you gave me and transformed your body into the most fragile carbon there is! You crafty devil! Be gone, fool! Return to nothing!
Great!
Oh, damn it. It looks like this is the end.
could do without that pitiful look right now, you pisshead.
You're wrong, Greed! They'll always be a part of you! Friends are a part of your soul!
Why don't you team up with us? You've got nothing. Why not come with us?
I can't believe I let Ling and the little runt talk to me that way. Oh, I've had enough. Yeah, that's all I really need. They gave me everything I could want. Thank you. And goodbye, my friends.
Shit, like, damn. And he stayed true to his character, too, you know. Ed was fighting him. You get to see that when he was regenerating or not even regenerating, when he was trying to repulse everything, he was using the stone. He was using the Philosopher's Stone. And that was running out, too. Because you got to realize he just lost the souls of the Mistress, and then it shows that if you keep using, like, your abilities, you like using the stone, and he kept using that repeatedly, you feel me, which was like weakening him. Ed goes to the gate, but the thing is, even before that, because I am like skipping some parts, before like Ed was able to deal the final blow, he was trapped. Like his arm was I think his arm was stuck, his normal arm, and the robot arm was smashed, you know, was destroyed. Al used a transmutation so that he sacrificed his body so that Ed can have a normal arm. He basically reversed the process, since Ed sacrificed his arm so that Al's soul can be in the suit. Al traded his soul to go back into the gate so that Ed can have his arm back. So Ed got his arm back, boom, took the needle out, started Millie robbing father, and yada yada yada, and shit like that. And then when it was all said and done, you know, Ed used his human transmutation to meet Truth again. And then at first you think Truth is just this evil god. You think he just doesn't give a fuck. Like, he's just this evil being. But even at the beginning, this one thing, it sits with me. He says that I'm not gonna quote it word for word, but you'll get the gist of it. But he says, you know, I am what you call of the universe. I am also what you beings call God. I am everything. I am one. And then I am also you. And you are me. Which is fucking crazy, bro. It's like, it summarized everything. Like, I'm sorry, it summarized everything. And it's like, when he starts to talk to Ed at the end, you see that he's not this evil being. He is just, it's reality. You feel me? He's trying to, he wanted to teach Ed. Because think about it. Because what Ed gave up to bring back his brother's body back was his alchemy. He did that. He sacrificed his alchemy to bring back Ed's body. And Truth is like, are you sure? Like, you're going to be a normal human. Like, you're going to be powerless. And he said, yeah, I'm sure. I got everything I need. I don't really need alchemy, you know? And then, you know, Truth is laughing. He said, you got it. You beat me. You learned. You beat me. Like, this is phenomenal. You cracked the code. And the thing is, alchemy was Edward's life. Even when he was a kid, when his father used to do alchemy, when he left, alchemy was the root to his problem. So alchemy was everything to him, you know. So but it was everything to him, to the point that he didn't even realize it, you know. Like, alchemy is the reason why he got himself in this situation to begin with. So when you tie that with the fact that alchemy, like I said, was everything to him, to the point where he didn't realize it, and now this whole time it's been under his nose to get back his brother. You feel me? He can sacrifice something that's important, but at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things is not, which is his alchemy. So I just think that was just fucking perfect. I don't care if that was fucking perfect. That was perfect for his character. That was a great way to show his progression as a character. You know, because let's be real, like, what did he may have sacrificed alchemy, but he didn't really sacrifice anything to begin with, because he got his brother back, have his arm back, still alive, and he has all these. He has his friends, you know. Renry, it's just, and I just like the reaction that they painted Truth. I like his reaction. It wasn't no stoic or this I just don't know where to describe it, but this, how they showed Truth's reaction, it was like human-like. It was like, damn, he beat me to my own game. It was just beautiful, bro. I'm sorry. It was just perfect.
Full metal!
Edward!
Edward Elric!
Who even needs alchemy when I've got them?
You've done it! That's the right answer! Good job! You beat me! Go ahead! Take him home!
The back door's right over there!
Goodbye, Edward Elric!
Now, the most important thing about this video is, who is Father? What really is he? And we know his intentions, because he just wants to be free. And he wants to play the role of God, not be restricted to anything, not bound by anything, you know. So who is Father? Or what is he? When Father is beaten and he sees the truth, he asks, who are you and where is he? This points out that he's never went to see truth. He never seen his own gate. So it still begs the question, who the fuck is Father? Now, I would say that the dwarf in the flask was nothing more than an intelligent, emotional blip. That's what he was. Now, he could have been man. He could have been a man before, but upon seeing truth, he gave up everything. Now, since he wanted to be free, that's probably why he went to go see truth. He wanted to be free. He probably, in order to tame that, he gave up everything. You know, leaving just his emotions, his intelligence, and his emotions. So I think when he gained, like, the seen truth and got what he wanted, he got the knowledge of the universe. You know, he had the knowledge of things, but now he's just all these emotions and intelligence. That's it. You know, he has no memories, no empathy, no understanding of humanity. Just his voice, emotions, and intelligence in a dark black blip, whatever you call it. The thing is, we don't know his original intentions were. Only truth knows.
I wanted to experience it! Free! I just wanted to be free! Free to know!
Tell me! Why did you refuse to join me? Why, God? How did I disappoint you?
You were incapable of believing in yourself. You stole your power from others. You rejected your human origins and chose to covet the power of what you call God. You never grew beyond your days in the flask. Did you truly think you'd become superior to humans by removing your 7 desires? Don't make me laugh.
What's wrong with that? I only wanted to obtain perfection. I wanted this world's knowledge for my own. Why should I be punished for that? What's wrong with craving knowledge? What's wrong with seeking perfection? Well, speak. What are you anyway? Do you even have a name? Who the hell do you think you are?
Who am I? One name you might have for me is the world, or you might call me the universe, or perhaps God, or perhaps the truth. I am all, and I am one. And so, of course, this also means that I am you. I'm the truth of your despair, the inescapable price of your boastfulness.
Humans who would dare to play God must pay a steep price for their arrogance. That is truth.
And now, I will bestow upon you the despair you deserve.
Don't do this to me. I can't go back. Please stop. I can't bear to be bound any longer. No.
This despair is reserved for the boastful.
Just tell me what I was supposed to do.
You brought this outcome upon yourself.
What did I do wrong? What should I have done?
Because for what we know, his intentions could have been completely different, and that's why he lost everything. It became this emotional energy. But now, since he lost memories, everything and stuff like that, now he just an emotional energy in this flask. He wants to be free now. So him wanting to be free now, as his intentions, that could have been way different before he had his memories erased, if you get what I'm saying. Or simply, he could have just poofed into existence, you know. All the other shit don't matter. He just poofed into existence. He was just a dwarf in a flask. So that could be another theory, but I think the last one just will fit more with the story. You know, I think that would have been a cool thing. So yeah, that's what I think Father is, or who he was.
Now, at the end of the series, the brothers started to think, and now they think that they can make a new rule that will replace the law of equivalent exchange. In short, he says you take one, you give one, and then you add on to something from yourself. So what is they trying to get at? Like, what is the point? Now, there are some examples that I can try to use to paint what they are trying to theorize. So imagine you have an apple and some earth. You can either eat the apple and take a nap on the ground, or you can plant those seeds and with time make an apple tree, giving you way more than what you would have originally or initially had. You see, the world isn't entirely transactional. You could see equivalent exchange as like going to the grocery store and buying groceries. You lose an amount of cash that is valued equal to what you're purchasing. Well, with Al and Ed's new theory, it will be something more like members of a household that are all working together to keep everything moving smoothly, and everyone is benefiting off of this. Everyone is benefiting from everyone else's actions. Rather than I did something for you, now you do something for me. I also think Renry's proposal to Ed was another way to paint Ed and Al's theory.
Equivalent exchange! I'll give half of my life to you if you give half of yours to me!
Come on. Do you have to treat everything like alchemy? The whole equivalent exchange thing is just nonsense.
What'd you say?
It's nonsense. How about I just give you my whole life? Maybe not all of it. 90? Maybe 80%? 70. That's not enough. But 85? Yeah, 85 is a good number. What? Shut up!
I'm sorry, really.
Edward!
You are so incredible! You knocked equivalent exchange flat on its butt in just a few words.
And what's that mean? Are you making fun of me?
Not at all.
Instead of giving half yourself to me, I give my all, myself to you, and then you give yourself to me. And this mutual sharing grows further in the form of children. This way, it isn't equivalent exchange, but growing and flourishing beyond the initial components of the exchange. Because I think they realize at the end of the story that the law of equivalent exchange is fundamentally flawed. You don't always get something back in equal value. The people who died to make the stones was not worth the sacrifice. And in reverse, Ed giving up his alchemy wasn't equivalent exchange either, because Al was worth more to him than the alchemy that he's been using for his entire life at this point. Also, I want to speak more on about truth. So, like I said earlier, I believe truth is the God, you can say, for the universe of Full Metal Alchemist. But just some of the stuff he says throughout the show and how he acts, it's like how they painted their version of God or a higher power is just so amazing. Even the name, Truth, it's like the perfect name for it too. Like, just truth. A truth, like having a name to describe what would you call it? The higher creator or higher being of power. And that's just simply truth. And that he tells you he's not just a being, sort of say, he's also you at the same time. And you're also him. It's just, wow. Also, it seems like he doesn't give out justice. And at the same time, he doesn't bring out evil, so to say. He's more neutral. Like I think basically he's just the one that makes sure the laws aren't broken. That no one tries to play God and step out of their boundaries. And I think it's to the point where it's not just trying to teach someone a lesson, but at the same time trying to save them. And can we speak about the design of Truth? Like, this design is so unique. Like, you would never think some type of God would look like this. No eyes, just a mouth, and he appears as, well, at first he does appear as this white figure, but he also appears as you too. Me personally, I think Truth is like one of the best interpretations of how God would be in fiction. Like, I like how the design looks, how he talks, the presence he gives off, the things he do. It's very, very unique and very different from what you'll see other gods and other media. Even though he's neutral, I do think he has a sense, or this being has a sense of trying to help. Because when Ed finally found out the answer, he was happy for him.
Full Metal!
Edward!
Edward Elric!
Who even needs alchemy when I've got them?
You've done it! That's the right answer! Good job! You beat me! Go ahead! Take him home!
The back door's right over there! Goodbye, Edward Elric!
Now, it could have been since Truth is also you, it could have been Ed that was happy for himself. But I just think that seeing that scene, how he was happy and just joyful that he broke, he understood what he was trying to show him. And then you can tell that Truth is also kind of disappointed in Father when he banishes him to his gate, I believe. But you can tell how he was interacting with him. It was this sort of disappointment and tension. Now, I do wish we had more screen time and more interactions with Truth, but even with the small amount of stuff we have and know of him, I just really, really like this character. Even though it seems like he's everything, he's all of existence, and he's you, me, and you're him and stuff like that. I do think he's still at the same time, he is his own thing. I would say he is just simply the observer and only intervene when someone's tried to break the laws or try to step out of the constraints of reality, or a good summary, trying to play God. And I also think when Truth was telling that Ed finally got it, and later on Ed and Al created this new theory, I think Truth was saying that he understands it now, like new theory that Al and Edward is coming up with. Truth in that moment or in that scene, he's telling Ed like, you're getting it now. So I think the new theory is what Truth was trying to tell Ed at the end of the day, because that's why, now that I think about it, that's why when Ed say he's gonna sacrifice his whole his alchemy, and Truth is like, are you sure you're gonna sacrifice? You've been using this for like most of your life, you've been doing this for such a long time, and you're just gonna give it up? Is this what you really want? And then, but the thing is, his brother was way more important than the alchemy. So he didn't really lose anything in exchange. There was no equal value. But even so, he was still able to gain something. So, me personally, that's like a little theory. I think when Truth said you finally got it, you cracked the code, I think that Truth knew about this new theory. He knew that there's something beyond the law of equivalent exchange, and that Ed unintentionally did that when he chose to sacrifice his alchemy to save his brother. You feel me? And now later on, I think Ed and Al is like finally understanding like this new theory, sort of say. So isn't it ironic that Scar didn't see the gate of truth? Just think about it. His whole ideals was because of the worship of his God and also his people's ideals as well. And this is one of the key aspects that sparked his revenge, and that sparked their culture, the war, and etc. So I thought it would have been actually cool if Scar actually met or seen the gate of truth. And I think Truth and Scar's interaction would have been kind of nice to see. And also, I would probably say it wouldn't be as necessary because the other Ishvallen that Scar meets, the mixed one that works for the Ice Queen, because since he's working from the inside, he's able to change the image of how other people view the Ishvallens, even though he's working with the same military and people that was ordered to genocide his own people. So I think it would have downgraded the meaning of how Scar looked up to another Ishvallen in order to redeem himself. Because instead of destroying the nation, he wants to rebuild it and change the nation, breaking that endless cycle of revenge.
And then the animation, I think, is good, beautiful. Now, is it flashy like Demon Slayer, One Punch, or like JJK? No, but I do enjoy the animation. I like the art style. I like the blocky faces for some reason, and just caught on to you. Yeah, characters fit the story. The conclusion, the ending to the story was just perfect. Perfect, bro. Like, just, that's all I can say, just perfect. That's just how I see it. The ending was perfect. I like the philosophical aspects it had of it. The battle of morality with all the characters, not just Ed. I'm talking about every single character you encounter. Even the villains. Shit. Even Envy, when she was killed. You feel me? She wanted to feel human. Lust. Well, not so much greed. But no, yeah, greed, but I meant to say what's his name? Sloth. Well, Sloth, not so much Sloth. What's his name? Gluttony. That's his name. Gluttony. So, but other than that, every single person you kind of understood. Like, you kind of like shook your head, like, So I think every single character played important role. Even the side characters are enjoyable. I like the journey of it. Like I said, each episode made you want to watch the next one. You wanted to see what happened, even with something small. So it's a 10 out of 10 anime for me, man. That's my rating for it. 10 out of 10. Can we all just admit that the opening of the anime, like first part was just fucking phenomenal. Can we all disagree? We can all agree, right? Like, that's like top 5, could be top 5 best anime openings. I think it's top 5 best anime openings. You feel me? Even the visuals of the opening was just fucking beautiful. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing more videos like this. I think the next one will be the best underrated anime in my opinion. I think I'm gonna have a blast making that. If you stayed this long watching the full video, I really appreciate it. You know, I wanted to make something like this in my style, my aesthetic. That's why I dressed up and shit like that, you know, cause you know, just something that I wanna test out. But I appreciate you, appreciate everyone. If you just, even if it's just one person watching, 2, 3, 4, 5,000, it don't matter, man. It don't matter. Hopefully you get to comment your opinions, what you think of it, you know, what you like of this anime, what's your favorite anime. You feel me? I just feel like this had to be made, this video. There's gonna be more videos like this, like I said, in the upcoming future. And, you know, thank you. I'm gonna touch you.